Hi, Makenzie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I got to tell you, it's way past my bedtime here, but
I was gonna say it's 10 o'clock there, ain't it?
it's 11.
Oh, well, it's
Uh,
5 here.
yeah, so it's really nice to sort of say hello. It's not exactly the same as, meeting somebody, but at least with Zoom, we can kind of get together.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for taking the time to do this with us. We do appreciate it. Here we are at Country Music News International, where we speak to the people that you need to listen to. And in this case, we're talking about Makenzie Phipps, who is way over there, of course, on the other side of the Atlantic. In, I don't know, where are you? Are you at home?
Yes, I am currently in my living room.
Right. I'm in my bedroom, but I've got like a green screen behind me. So it looks hopefully a bit better than my bedroom normally looks like, which is like just a mess. Yeah. Actually, talking about where you are at the moment, I was kind of checking this out. I've got a question for you, but I need to put something up on the screen first of all. Let's now that is your website, which I'm going to come back to. But what I did find was this picture. Now I got a question for you. Is this your hometown?
Yes, that is, which I call it New Graham, but that is like 5 minutes down the road from me.
Yeah. So for anyone watching this video, this so what's the name of this town, Makenzie?
This is Bluefield, Virginia.
Yes, exactly. We are in Virginia, and with in this picture, the weather looks pretty nice. How is the weather where you are at the moment?
It is very yucky. It is raining. It's
Yeah.
been storming.
So the other thing that was on your website, which I noted with great pleasure, was that you have a Christmas song out. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Well, it is called Christmas Snow, and it was released on November 5th, so it is now on all streaming platforms. Well, when I started writing this song with my other songwriter named Shane Begley, we were very last minute with this project. We only had a week to be able to write it. So we procrastinated basically until the last day before we were supposed to go and record it. And, I told him, I was like, you start it, you come up with stuff, send it to me, and I'll finish it. So he sent me the first verse and the chorus, and I rearranged some words and I finished the rest of the song and added music to it. And I told him, I was like, it's not perfect, but we're going to have to make do with what we got. And we went down to the studio and it just came to life from there. And I was so, so happy with the end result, especially with adding Rhonda Vincent's dobro player. So I
Oh
feel like that
wow.
added an extra touch to the song. So I was very,
Yeah.
very happy with the final result.
Yeah, and of course the other song that I was listening to, well, there was a number of songs I've been listening to from you, but maybe that's not so recent. If I'm correct in saying that came out earlier this year. Is that right? Or
Yes, that came out. Ooh, that came out a bit ago, actually. I'm trying to remember when that came about.
I saw
And
something that said it was in May.
around that time, it was in the springtime when it came out this year.
Has that gone? I mean, it's a very nice song. Has that gone down well with audiences and radio stations?
Yes, a lot of people have actually really liked it. It's been streamed a lot of places, so I'm very, very thankful that a lot of people can relate to this song. And we've been starting to go to shows and people have been asking us to actually play it, so that's been something cool to be
That's
able to
nice.
experience. So I think that it's done a very, very good job, in my opinion.
Good stuff. And where did that one come from? And is that one of your songs, or was Shane involved in that as well? Shane is your
Yes,
guitar
so
player, right?
Yes, he is my backup guitarist and vocalist for my duo shows, and he is the drummer in my band, and we also write songs together. So he had actually written Maybe, and he presented it to me, and at the time we had a bunch of stuff going on, so we kind of put it to the side, and my mom one day went and saw it on our little counter downstairs, and she was like, "Y'all should definitely work up this song." So me and him were able to work on the accompaniment with it, as well as some of the arrangement of where the lyrics were. And we got to go down to Knoxville, Tennessee, and record that, as well as we were able to shoot a music video to it. So it was a very, very amazing experience to get to be a part of. And we're actually going to be re releasing it here soon. So that's going to be very exciting as well. And we actually won an award with that song at the
Okay.
Josie Music Awards for Female Country Song of the Year. So we were very, very fortunate and honored to have been given that award. So it's definitely presented a lot of things to us.
Well, I like the sound of that. So what's coming up next for you music wise? You just mentioned that you're kind of, as it were, re-releasing Maybe. Is there anything else coming up in the near future?
Well, I'm actually working on a new project. So I started singing when I was 4 with my mama. She used to take me to church all the time, and she was a very, very big support system in my life as far as when it came to my music. And as over the years, she has developed Alzheimer's. So it has been a very, very tough journey to have to deal with. So I brought her over to my house one day to take her out to dinner for her birthday because she hadn't been out for a bit ever since she had been diagnosed. And, people who have relatives or friends with Alzheimer's or dementia know that some days they have good days, some days are great days, and some days are not so great. And when I had brought her over, it happened to be a not so great day. So it was a very, very stressful time for me to have to deal with and to see her struggle so much. So I had written 2 lines of a song, and at that point, I just kind of put it to the side. But I was on my way to a doctor's appointment one day, and it was stuck in my head, and I was like, I have got to finish this song. So I finished writing it in one day, and I finished the music to it. And as I was writing it, and as I finished it, I realized that there's not many songs in this that pertain to Alzheimer's or dementia, even though there's millions of people in this world who struggle with it every day with relatives or themselves or their friends. And I'm very, very excited to release this song because I feel as though it will touch many people's lives and that it'll be a very, very relatable song to let them know that they're not alone in this world. And, it's a tough road to go down with your loved ones, but I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm still so blessed and fortunate to still have her with me today. And, I absolutely love the great days I have with her, but I'm so, so excited to be releasing this song here soon. It'll be releasing hopefully in April, but the most
Okay.
information I can give is its name, and it is called Life's Game. So I'm very, very excited to be working on that. And just the people who have gotten to listen to it, it has definitely touched their hearts. So it makes me very, very happy that a song is able to do that.
I think it'll touch a lot of people.
I think it will definitely help the process because I remember when I was in high school, I had one of my closest friends was telling me that her grandfather was starting to become diagnosed with it, and his was a lot more abrasive than my mama's case. Like she's still able to remember people, she's still able to remember certain things from her life. So I'm very fortunate that her memory is still a little bit there still.
Going back to sort of, putting a song together, is there a kind of process for you, or, does it just come as it will, and you just kind of follow your instincts, or do you have a system?
Well, typically, if I have something very, very sentimental going on in my life, or it's something that is very, very important to me, I'm able to just basically sit down and just let it all out, and I'm able to write a song. But I'm one of those songwriters where I can't just sit down and write about something random. I have to write about something that is a part of my life or something that I've dealt with that I feel will be very relatable to other people as well. So I'm very, very fortunate in that aspect that I feel all of my songs are based off personal experience, so they will be able to connect with the audience a lot more just based off of that.
And do you see yourself more as a lyric writer, or or a songwriter?
I think I would definitely see myself as a songwriter, but it just depends because I mean, when I wrote Life's Game, I definitely feel that was more lyrically challenged because, I think Life's Game is probably my favorite song that I have written because just the wording and how I was able to convey a very big message in that song, I feel that's probably the best work that I've done lyric wise. But as far as all of my other songs go, I just really enjoy being able to pour my heart into the lyrics as well as the music and being able to have all of it come together as one.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you just kind of grab a guitar, or do you sit down at the piano, or what's your kind of favorite method of working on a song?
So, typically, I'll just randomly have a bunch of words or phrases come into my head depending on what kind of topic I want to write about. Like when I was writing the Life's Game song, I was sitting on my couch just thinking about, I always told my high school teacher, because I would call her to vent about a lot of things. And, when my mama's Alzheimer's was very bad at one point due to a medication she was on, I remember I called my choir teacher and I was like, it's such a horrible disease. And I often used to question so much in life. And I was saying, Alzheimer's is kind of that one thing that God created where He'll still keep your loved one on earth, but it's not them. So it's kind of like it's taking them away. And for the longest time, I questioned why this happened to her and all that. But I believe that there is a plan for everybody in this world, whether it is good or bad. But it was definitely one of those things where it just all depended really on my writing. So when I sat down and started writing about that song, it just kind of all connected with me just on the subject.
And working together with Shane, how does that work? I mean, is he anywhere near you, or do you communicate online, or how does it work at the moment?
So it's kind of funny because, Shane is such a very, very talented songwriter and musician and singer, and he's been writing songs for such a long time. And me and him are very, very different as far as writing songs go. And he's always wanted to write songs with me for the longest time, but I guess I'm just one of those people where I have to be in my own element, and I'm such a huge perfectionist that I don't like doing something and presenting it to someone when I am not 100% sure that that is what I want them to see or hear. So
Okay.
especially when we did Christmas Snow, I told him I was like, you start it and then you send it to me through a text and I will work on it myself. And that's basically what we do when it comes to the writing aspect of it. And then after that, when the music aspect comes, me and him will throw around a bunch of different things together. But I definitely think on the writing process, I'm one of those people where I have to really be confident in my work before it is presented to him or anybody else.
Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar to me. I don't like people messing with what I write. Um, I like collaborating, but if they dramatically or drastically change what I've written, I get kind of, very kind of itsy about it. I don't like that. Um, and these days, I tend not to really write much in the way of lyrics. I prefer to sort of say to people, "Hey, just write something lyrically, send it to me. I'll sort out the music." And it's been quite interesting with during this kind of COVID period. I'd never really done any kind of online collaboration before, and in fact, I hadn't really never done much collaboration at all. But in the last year, it's been a lot, because you find yourself, here I am sat in my little room in front of the computer. I got all the equipment here, but you come up against kind of brick walls at times because you can't go out, you can't kind of take a break, you can't go and see anybody. So the online collaboration thing has been really useful, and so I send stuff over to England, or I've got a friend, an English friend of mine who lives about 40 minutes drive from where I am. So I don't see him very often, but we are, in contact regularly during the week. And he sends me stuff and I work on it. I'm mixing this album for him. Another guy in London has sent me material, and we've put together an interactive ebook with his music. And it fascinates me, seeing how different people work and what comes out of all of this. And it also doesn't seem to make any difference how old or how young you are. Okay, so I'm old, you're young, but I don't think it would be any problem, if it's like you sent me some lyrics, I would put it to music. You might not like the music, but I wouldn't have a problem doing that. And I don't know about you, but certainly for me, this kind of COVID situation has kind of pushed people into working in different ways, ways they didn't perhaps think about before. But for me, it's been positive. I have to say, I hate all the stuff about losing out on gigs and not being able to play in front of an audience, but writing and, arranging and mixing and putting ebooks together, that's been great. I love it.
Most definitely.
How's it for gigs for you? I mean, I looked at your website and there seemed to be a pretty good list of shows coming up.
Oh, yes, which I still have a lot more to add. But, a lot of people were talking about how Corona had stopped them from doing gigs for a very, very long amount of time. But in my area, a lot of the people were wanting solos or duos, and they weren't wanting bands. And at the time, I didn't have my band backing me. So, in all honesty, ever since Corona happened, I never really stopped still. I was still
Okay.
doing shows and doing everything of a sort. So, I've basically been doing shows since March of 2020.
For me, it was kind of different over here. I think we were able. I play in a little kind of cover band. I also do solo stuff, but the cover band last summer, as of 2020, we were able to go out and do outdoor shows. They had the people in the audience kind of distanced from each other, like in little clumps of people. But we were able to do gigs, and it was the same this year. In the summer, we could play outside. The problem was we couldn't play inside. And I had 3 shows lined up in December, 2 with the band and 1 solo. The solo gig was cancelled today because there's been a rise in the incidence rate of infections over here in Germany. So that's 1 gone. And the other 2 with the band are also supposed to be, indoor gigs. And I don't know if they're going to take place or not. And that is really frustrating,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it
very,
is
very
what it is.
frustrating.
You just have to get on with life as best you can. But it's very frustrating when you feel that, there's a lot of irresponsible people out there who are not doing what they should be doing to protect themselves and to protect other people from becoming infected. And that is annoying. Well, it's not really annoying, but it's frustrating when people's kind of thoughtless actions affect other people's livelihoods. I mean, I'm not a professional musician anymore. I used to be, but I'm just a kind of semi-pro these days. But I have a number of friends, good friends, who are professional musicians. And if all the clubs and the pubs are shut, they can't work, you know, and they've got no other form of income unless they can do some kind of, you know, online shows and beg people to send them money. And that just doesn't seem right somehow. I keep getting this message on my screen that says my internet connection is unstable, but it isn't. I'm looking at my internet connection. It's perfectly ordinary. Never mind. There you go. We're coming up to the end of this session anyway, Makenzie. I'm supposed to do these interviews. They're supposed to last 10 minutes. I never managed to get them to last 10 minutes. What I do is, you know, I edit the video down to a manageable length so that my boss can post it wherever he posts it. One thing I was going to say to you, at the end of February next year, me and the boss, that's a guy called Christian Lamichka, and he runs Country Music News International. We're coming over to Nashville. And this is going to be my first trip to Nashville. I've been to the States before a number of times, but I've never made it to Nashville. So, and we're going to be there at the same time as this, I think it's called the Country Radio Seminar. It's like a sort of 3-day event where there's all sorts of stuff going on. As Blake Shelton is the sort of special guest artist, and there's various talks and what have you. We're coming a little earlier than that actually starts. We're staying for a week, and we're going to try and grab as many people as we can to interview them. So if you happen to be in Nashville at the end of February, you know, come over and say hello, because we'd love to meet you in person. That would be great. Do you actually get to Nashville very often?
The last time I went down to Nashville was actually in May, because where I am located in Virginia, it is 7 hours.
It's a fair old drive, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, but I was down there for a business trip because maybe actually had 7 billboards with it presented on them. So I was very, very fortunate and grateful for that to happen. I wish I could go down to Nashville a lot more than I am able to, but I absolutely love down there. I think it is an amazing city filled with so much amazing talent. So I believe that you will definitely enjoy it, to say the least.
A number of people have said to me, "You'll love it," you know. The main thing for me is that I have to stay out of music stores. Otherwise, I won't be able to stop myself buying a guitar or 6. And but I definitely want to buy some clothing. And actually, talking about clothing,
yes.
that was something. I saw something on your website saying something about merchandising is coming out soon. Is that correct? Was that
You may have seen my giveaway when I was working with Swanson. I do have some merch things listed, but I am going to be at the CRS event in Nashville in February. So yeah.
Well, please come and say hello, because we will be there.
Oh, well, that'll be a great time, which I actually just found out about that. I just remembered. I found out about that a couple of days ago.
Here's Beanie again. She's
so
back.
Hopefully we'll be able to meet.
Yeah. I was actually wondering, hopefully I'm going to sort of meet a bunch of nice people, and one of them will lend me a guitar so I can actually, you know, maybe jam with some people. That'd be really nice. And my friend who I saw in Beanie, come on, out of the way. My friend in Kansas, who I saw in 2018, I wrote to him and said, "Hey, going to be in Nashville end of February. And he said, cool. And he's already booked his hotel. He's coming down. And he is originally from Tennessee. He's from a place called Soddy Daisy, which is a weird name. And anyway, it's another small town in the United States of America. And he's a small town boy. So he's coming down and he wants to sort of show me around. He's going to show me Lookout Mountain, which was the name of the band that we had. And also Lookout Mountain is also in Tennessee, of course. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that, COVID doesn't play some kind of nasty trick on me and prevents me from going, because if I do manage to go, I just have a feeling that some really good things are going to happen. And I'm looking forward to a little bit of country music magic. I've got someone who's going to try and get me into Ocean Way Studios. That would be nice. I'd love to do that. And then I need someone to show me the Ryman Auditorium. And I had an interview a little while ago. You mentioned I think it was the dobro player from Rhonda Vincent.
Yes.
And I had an interview with Rhonda 3 or 4 months ago. And that was a real thrill for me to speak to her. And it's like, and she was sitting there in this room with a mandolin. And I thought, oh, yes, please play a mandolin. She didn't, but it was okay. But you just love to sort of get over there and just get the chance to sort of see and hear these people playing live. And if I ever got the opportunity to play with any of these people, because I mean, the musicians that you hear from Nashville, man, they are so good. And I just don't meet people like that over here. It's what I miss most of all. And, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we'll get some Nashville music magic happening in February. Anyway,
hopefully, fingers crossed.
That's it. They're already crossed. Makenzie, thanks very much indeed for taking the time for this little interview. It's not much of an interview because I just like talking to people. So it's more like a chat than one of these real kind of journalist type interviews. But we do appreciate that you take the time to do them with us, because we do miss you guys over here. We're used to sort of American artists coming over and performing, and for people like me to go and see people, and I've been doing that since I came to Germany, going to see people like Waylon Jennings and Ricky Skaggs and all sorts of people. Dwight Yoakam, it's really good. And these days, nothing. So that's kind of sad. And so, like I say, we miss you guys over here. And we hope it's going to change. I'm an optimist, so it's going to get better.
Hopefully one.
Sometime, hopefully soon, it's going to get better. So I'm going to wish you well. I'm going to go and feed the cats for the last time today, and then I'm going to hit the sack. Okay, I wish you a pleasant rest of the day. Enjoy whatever food comes your way, and please come and say hello to us at CRS if you're there, and if we're there as well, which we sincerely hope we will be. Makenzie, you take care of yourself. I'm going to wave goodbye.
Thank you.
And take care. Bye.